Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Tonight we're joined by Andrzej Sadecki from the Centre for Eastern Studies to unpack Hungary's mounting regional tensions. Budapest remains deeply dependent on Russian oil, clashing with both the EU's energy diversification agenda and its neighbour Croatia over the capacity of the Adriatic pipeline run by JANAF. At the same time, Hungary's dispute with Ukraine over minority rights and EU accession has intensified. We'll explore what Hungary's stance means for Europe's unity and security. Welcome, Mr. Sadecki, to TVP World, and thank you very much for taking the time.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start with the Adriatic pipeline. Hungary says that basically, that pipeline cannot carry enough energy resources for its use, whereas Croatia, the country through which the Adriatic pipeline runs, says it can. What's going on? Can it? Can't it? Why is Hungary making a fuss?
Well, yes, we've heard in last days contradictory statements from both sides. Well, it seems that Hungary is still very much committed to Russian hydrocarbons, oil and gas, and there is simply no political will to get rid of this dependency. Hungary, of course, was in a difficult situation in 2022. That's why also it got a derogation from the EU ban on importing Russian oil. But for the last 3 years, we practically haven't seen any moves by Hungary to diversify its imports. Hungary has been procrastinating, and interestingly enough, Croatia basically offered the alternative. I mean, at least on paper, Croatia can provide fully the amount that is consumed by the refineries in Hungary and Slovakia, because Hungarian company MOL owns both of them.
Okay, so it seems as though the energy needs for Hungary and Slovakia actually can be supplied by the pipeline that goes through Croatia. So what is it? Why are the leaders of those two countries so tied to Russian oil and gas when all other countries in the European Union have either weaned themselves off completely off Russian energy or are almost there?
Oh, this is a very good question. I think, one issue is that Hungary and Slovakia partly benefited from importing the Russian oil that is cheaper comparing to other sources. And here there is a reluctance. But interestingly enough, both Hungary and Slovakia, although the role of Hungary is more important here as MOL is a Hungarian company partly owned by the state, they completely neglected the costs, the risks related to it. We had several disruptions on the Druzhba pipeline going through from Russia through Belarus, Ukraine to Hungary. Parts of the pipeline were actually destroyed in the Ukrainian missile attacks on the Russian territory. So here, I think it can be interpreted as short-sighted thinking on the side of Hungary. Of course, on top of it, there is a complicated relationship between Hungary and Croatia, which is the main.
Understood. Well, Hungary seems to have a complicated relationship with Hungary seems to have a complicated relationship with many countries, Croatia being one of them, the rest of the EU being the other. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about in the last few minutes that we have left is Hungary's reluctance to agree to Ukrainian accession to the European Union. They are citing minority rights of Hungarians in Ukraine. Is that the real reason, do you think, or do you think their relationship, Orbán's relationship with Putin might have something to do with it as well?
Well, of course, the minority issue was burdening or has been burdening for a long time the Ukrainian-Hungarian relations. However, Ukraine made a key concession in 2023, withdrawing from the most controversial law regarding increasing the presence of Ukrainian language in minority schools. So here, I think currently it's more about, on one hand, the sort of pro-Russian Hungarian attitude. On the other hand, it became a matter of Hungarian domestic politics. I mean, that's one of the key issues recently. I mean, Hungary will have general elections in spring next year. And one of the main kind of ways how Orbán tries to fight with his main opponent, Péter Magyar, is to accuse him that he's pro-Ukrainian. If he wins, as Orbán alleges, Hungary will get into the war, right? So of course it's a narrative not really based on Magyar's assertions, but nonetheless it became a sort of dominant topic in the Hungarian domestic campaign. And I think currently Orbán even provokes Ukraine to increase the tension because it plays well for domestic needs.
But it also plays well to Putin, doesn't it? Because it shows more disunity within the European Union. You mentioned the upcoming elections in Hungary. What are Orbán's chances of staying in power?
Well, he's been in power for 15 years. He accumulated a lot of resources, a lot of media advantage over the opposition. But for the first time in the last 15 years, he has a real competitor, meaning one leader that is able to kind of inspire the opposition voters. And currently, his party, TISA, is having a 10 percentage point around advantage over Fidesz. But still, Fidesz has many advantages over the opposition. So I think it's a big question mark what will be the result. But I think these will be the most difficult elections for Orbán in the last 2 decades.
So it's going to be neck and neck. Let's see what happens. Mr. Sadecki, thank you very much indeed for coming along and sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. That brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, though. As always, lots more coming up. Goodbye.